This is Freedom Global News.
Federal government to explore different alternatives in dealing with rejected Electoral Act amendment. Kano State government sets up caretaker committee as it dissolves Chamber of Commerce. Minister of Power says national grid has been recovered as several states suffer blackout. And on the foreign scene, Chad peace talk halts amid replacement protests.
This is Freedom Global News.
Coronavirus is real and deadly. Do not be confused. Get vaccinated against the virus immediately at the nearest vaccination center. This message is brought to you by the United Nations Children Education Fund, UNICEF. Good evening. You listen to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 16th of March, 2022. And now the news in full. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has indicated the administration would explore all options available to deal with the National Assembly's refusal to review the recently signed Electoral Act 2022. President Muhammadu Buhari had, at the point of signing the bill into law on February 25th, requested the National Assembly to take another look at Section 84, subsection 12 of the Act and delete it, arguing that its provision is at variance with that of the 1999 Constitution as amended. However, responding to questions from Senate House correspondents after the week's virtual Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Abubakar Malami said the administration had not taken any position yet on National Assembly's refusal to revisit the Act. He said the government has three options available to it following the National Assembly's turning down of the President's request, including asking again for reconsideration, approaching the court, or accepting the law as it is. Malami affirmed that while it is the responsibility of the lawmakers to legislate, if it becomes necessary, the federal government will exploit all the options available to it. Kano State government has ordered immediate dissolution of the leadership of the Kano Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, CIMA, for failure to organize fresh elections. Musa Tanko, the Public Relations Officer of Kano State Cabinet Office, made this known in an interview with Newsman today in Kano. Musa Tanko said the Secretary to the Kano State government, Alhaji Usman Alhaji, signed the order for the dissolution. He explained that the action was necessitated by the inability of the current leadership of CIMA to organize a fresh and acceptable election long after the expiration of its tenure. He said Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduchi had already approved the setting up of 9-member caretaker committee led by a renowned industrialist, Alhaji Lawan Garu. The National Tourism Board says that the coronavirus pandemic has affected many areas, including tourism. Then the chairman of the commission, who was represented by Ms. Afan Iklima, the director of the commission, said the aim of the event is to find ways to improve tourism in the country. She added that the Kano State government has a number of tourist attractions. She added that Kano State has a number of tourist attraction places.
And we also have the Tour Nigeria brand, which I said in the DG speech, that we want people to know their environment. People leave Nigeria to go to Dubai. People leave Nigeria to go to London, to Germany for holiday. But they don't know their next environment. They don't know the next. Some people have never left the north to the south. Some people have never left the south to the north. And we have beautiful landmarks, beautiful attractions, ecotourism, places that we can spend money and feel that, yes, we have relaxed.
Alhaji Abbas Al-Hatu then Kanu, who represented the Emir of Kano State, Kanu, said the state is happy with the conference as it would boost the country's economy.
The Nigerian Tourism Development Agency has already visited the emir this morning, and they've spoken at length about their conference, what they need, the advice, the blessings, and all that has taken place. My work is simple: come in, listen to what they have to say, and give the little goodwill message of His Highness, and then the one sentence advice that he has sent to the event. I've already done that, and I'm sure you will listen to it. His Highness is interested in anything that brings development, Kano State, to the people of Kano. And
Correspondent Hafsat Abdullahi Al-Ladi reports that the meeting was attended by stakeholders on tourism. The Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Adu Bayero, has charged the newly posted controller of the Nigerian Customs Service Kano Jigawa Command, Muhammad Abubakar Umar, to map out strategies to ensure the masses' compliance with law and order to enhance the economic development. The Emir made the charge when he received the new controller, Muhammad Abubakar Umar, at his palace. Alhaji Aminu Adu Bayero, who traced the history between the Kano Emirate and the command as cordial, assured the Emirates Council's support on any move that would improve the economic state and understanding among the society. Earlier, the new controller, Muhammad Abubakar Umar, solicits support to achieve success in the discharge of his responsibilities as a custodian.
I have all what it takes to enforce the anti-smuggling laws. I have men and material. The controller general of customs that I have been at the time has given us all the necessary tools and which to enforce this. So it's left to those that want to smuggle to think twice.
Correspondent Shamsu Daw Abdullahi reports that the new controller also called on all and sundry to abide by the rules and regulations as prescribed by the law. And on the sports at the Cape Coast Stadium ahead of the FIFA 2022 World Cup playoffs, correspondent Muhammad San Uba.
According to Ghana Soccer Net, the players are expected to start arriving on March 20, while the camp will officially open on March 21. Although coach Ato Ado has submitted the squad list to the Ghana Football Association, the federation is yet to make it public. The squad is expected to be dominated by players that featured at the 2021 AFCON in Cameroon, while some debutants who are active in their clubs will be part of the team. Meanwhile, Super Eagles coach Emmanuel Amunike has stated that Maduka Okowe remains the number one choice of FIFA for the team ahead of their clash against the Black Stars of Ghana. Okowe came under fine scrutiny after his shaky performance at the Africa Cup of Nations. He was blamed for the Eagles All-Star in the round of 16 after he failed to deal with a shot from outside the box by Tunisia's Yusuf Nsakani. In another update, Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea said the team were not good enough after being eliminated from the Champions League in the last 16 by Atletico Madrid last night. The club's last trophy came when they won the Europa League 5 years ago. United have reached the last 8 of Europe's top club competition just twice since Alex Ferguson retired in 2013. Similarly, the owners of Major League Baseball team, the Chicago Cubs, Rickett family, have confirmed they are leading a group of investors which will make a bid for Chelsea on Friday. The Rickett have had a majority interest in the club since 2009. And on tennis, British qualifier Harry Dad lost in straight set to American Madison Keys in the 4th round at Indian Wells. Australian Open semi-finalist Keys won 6-1, 6-4 against Dad, who ranked 122nd in the world. Keys will face Iga Swiatek in the quarterfinals after the Polish third seed came from a set down to defeat Germany's Angelique Kerber 4-6, 6-2, 6-3. Mohammed Sanoba, Freedom Radio.
The global news is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, said that the national grid, which days ago, has now been recovered. He disclosed this today during a briefing after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The Minister of Power said several resolutions have emerged from a series of emergency meetings held by the Power Ministry, where all stakeholders have extensively discussed the issues and resolved all bickering. The minister, who likened Nigeria's power challenge to a war situation, further maintained that the country generates up to 8,000 megawatts. According to Aliyu, the shortage of gas and maintenance of generators, the fuel situation, which he argued has been addressed by the NNPC, all combined to exacerbate the problem with the national grid. The Power Minister equally affirmed that the Federal Executive Council has given approval of 5 billion naira to open up and expand Lagos Ogun to reinforce power supply to that region. And for tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic, here is the report.
Kano tomorrow morning is expected to have clear sky, a light wind at an average temperature of 19 degrees Celsius, and later change to 32 degrees Celsius with sunny intervals. Dutse in Jigawa State will have similar weather conditions at 20 degrees Celsius and subsequently increase to 22 degrees Celsius. Kaduna is expected to have clear sky and light wind at 21 degrees Celsius and later change sunny intervals at 25 degrees Celsius with gentle breeze, while Abuja will have clear sky and light wind at 24 degrees Celsius and later change sunny intervals and light wind at 29 degrees Celsius. Lagos will have clear sky and light wind at 26 degrees Celsius and later change to sunny sky and light wind at 28 degrees Celsius. While moving to Niger Republic, Maradi and Zindar will have clear sky and light wind at 22 degrees Celsius and later change sunny intervals at 25 degrees Celsius at noon. Sapra Utijan Adam, Freedom Radio.
And on business, Hafsat Abdullahi Aladi has updates.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, said higher food and fuel price as a result of Russian and Ukraine war might cause unrest in Nigeria, other sub-Saharan African countries, Latin America, the Caucasus, and Central Asia, while food insecurity is likely to further increase in parts of Africa and the Middle East. The IMF said Russia and Ukraine are major commodities producers, and disruptions have caused global price soar, especially for oil and natural gas. It added that the entire global economy will feel the effect of slower growth and faster inflation. Meanwhile, the United Nations in Nigeria has projected that the food economy in West Africa and Sahel sub-region will hit $280 billion in 2030. The resident and humanitarian coordinator for the United Nations in Nigeria, Matthias Colmel, stated this in Abuja at the 13th multidisciplinary team meeting with the team. Colmel noted that countries in West Africa and Sahel have witnessed the negative impact of climate change, a decline in natural resources base, recurrent natural and human-induced disaster, and rising insecurity. All of these have adversely impacted agri-food system, causing agri-production and yield in the sub-region to be the lowest in the world, have said Abdullahi Aladi, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, a first round of negotiations between Chad's ruling Transitional Military Council, TMC, and representatives of armed groups set to kick off in Doha, the Qatari capital, has been delayed by 48 hours. The discussions, which were expected to start today, could mark a critical passage in the country's transition towards elections. Successful peace talks are seen as a key prelude for national dialogue to take place in the Chadian capital, N'Djamena, in May. There, the TMC is expected to sit with members of civil society to establish a constitutional framework for a transition to civilian governance. Chad was thrown into turmoil following the death of longtime President Idris Deby while he was fighting rebels in the country north last April. His son Mohammed Idris Deby, also known as Kaka, was swiftly put in charge by the military with the promise of free elections within 18 months. The Doha meeting follows a flurry of diplomatic efforts, which resulted in rebel groups agreeing to negotiate with the Transitional Council in certain conditions, if certain conditions were met, including the release of prisoners and the return of confiscated assets. And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful evening.